countries have a special, historically established relationship. We have always stood by Cuba in its struggle for independence and the right to develop along its own path, and we have always supported the Cuban people. We know how difficult it has been for the Cuban people over these decades of Cuban independence to fight for their right to live by their own rules and defend their national interests. And now is a special period, new sanctions. You know how we feel about this. We do not accept anything of the sort, and the position of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs is open, clear, and unambiguous.
According to maritime analytics firm Kpler, sanctioned Russian oil tanker Anatoly Kolodkin is currently heading to Cuba as it suffers blackouts under US economic blockade. Now, this comes after US President Donald Trump's recent aggressive rhetoric against Cuba when he said that he would have the honor of taking Cuba in some form and that he can do anything he wants with the neighboring country. The Russian tanker, loaded with 730,000 barrels of crude in the Russian port on March 8th, was on its way to Eastern Atlantic, bound for Cuba just a few days later. Its data said that Russian vessel was scheduled to unload at the Matanzas oil terminal on the north of the island on March 23rd. The US has recently intensified pressure on Cuba, a country with which its relations have not been good for some time now. Under Trump, this has only worsened and become more pronounced after the US seized the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro in January. Trump has since cut off Venezuelan oil shipments to Cuba and threatened to impose tariffs on any country selling oil to the country, stating that Cuba would receive no more oil or money as a result of his actions. After US sanctions and pressure on Cuba, Russia has been one of the few countries to openly come out in support of Cuba. It is helping Cuba weather the impact of US sanctions primarily by stepping in as an alternative energy supplier. As Washington tightened the pressures on countries like Venezuela and Mexico to curb fuel exports to Cuba, the island has faced acute shortages, leading to blackouts and economic disruption. During such a time, Russia has begun sending shipments of crude oil and refined fuels directly to Cuba. These deliveries, though limited in scale compared to Cuba's full-scale needs, have been significant because they come at a moment when few other suppliers are willing to risk US retaliation. Cuba has imported no oil since January 9th when Mexico delivered a shipment in days after Maduro's ouster. Mexico came under pressure from Trump to end its supplies to Cuba. The Russian-flagged Anatoly Kolodkin, which is currently en route to Cuba, is listed as coming under sanctions against Russia by United States, European Union, and the United Kingdom.